Hi there, my name's Adam Boxer and I'm the series editor of Springboard Science. Springboard Science grew from basically two forces. One force was 7 or 8 years ago, the cog-sci-sci community started up, and it was a group of teachers who were interested in using findings from the cognitive sciences in their teaching. So that would include things like cognitive load theory, retrieval practice, independent practice, interleaved practice, space practice, multimedia effects, that kind of stuff. And that's kind of the positive side of what drove Springboard. There is also, unfortunately, a negative side of what drove Springboard, which is that I'm very lucky that I have a very large network, lots of people in the science community who I talk to frequently, and for 2 or 3 years maybe, I used to get at least one phone call a week from a head of department, a head of science somewhere in the country, begging for help with Key Stage 3 resources. The problem was that the resources that were available at the time just didn't suit the needs of the current curricular climate. So all the ideas and thinking around cognitive science, for example, and around curriculum that was mostly driven by Ofsted, but was valuable in and of itself, those weren't bedded in to the resources that were available at the time. And resources often did not have enough practice. The curriculum sequencing wasn't great, was often haphazard. There was this thing where curriculum providers were trying to force every topic onto one double page spread. Online material did not support effective teaching, and you ended up with lessons that didn't quite work and felt sort of desiccated, and were broadly driven by people basically just punching their way through PowerPoint slides. You download the PowerPoint, you might make an edit here, you might put it onto your trust background or whatever it was, but broadly that slide would then just go on the board and you just go next. What we wanted to try and do at Springboard was go in a completely different direction. We wanted to turn the table over. We wanted to get away from that mode of teaching. So first we delineated and sequenced the curriculum into these series of granulated steps, which we called the core questions and put into the knowledge book. But we also made this teacher book, which is a guide for teachers. It's not student facing, it's for the teachers, and it's a guide to help them deliver the subject. So rather than just putting up the PowerPoint and just going bam, 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 it's saying, right, you need to teach pressure in fluids. Here's a good way to teach it. Here's a diagram you could draw. Here are the steps you could go through. Here are the questions you could use to check your students' understanding. And once they're done, here's an absolute ton of independent practice for them to do. But crucially, we don't think that's going to take, exactly 50 minutes perfect. It might take 55, it might take 45. We're going to give you that kind of freedom to work your way through the curriculum at a pace that is appropriate to your students. We're then, of course, going to support you with a coherent and comprehensive package. So it's not just that stuff, but it's all the stuff online and all the surroundings. And what that means is that we now have, we finally have a resource that solves both problems: evidence-based practice, and also this idea of just not having anything that can be delivered in the classroom. Thank you so much.